Today's case is a truly shocking and devastating one. It's the story of a young, vibrant girl that went missing. A community rallied behind her, desperate to find her alive, hiding out somewhere waiting to be found. But when the horrific reality came to light, everyone who knew her was shocked beyond belief. Someone close to her, someone nobody could have expected, inflicted so much violence, so much brutality on this young girl that I know your stomach will be in knots by the end of this video. I want to warn you because this case is truly devastating and the details are so hard to hear. So please be prepared and proceed with caution. With that being said, let's get into the disturbing details of this case. Kei'mani Latigue was 13 years old at the time of her tragic, devastating death. She was a 7th grade honor roll student at Spring Elementary School in Toledo, Ohio. Kei'mani enjoyed playing basketball, and those who knew her described that she was personable, friendly, and kind. So kind, in fact, she was about to receive a kindness award from her school. Everyone who knew her liked her. For the prior 5.5 years, Kei'mani was living with her grandmother, Dorothy Latigue. From what I could find, there isn't really much documentation for why Kei'mani ended up with her grandmother, but from what I could find, it seems that her mother, Tiara Caston, and father, Darnell Jones, were still involved in her life. They would often visit her, or she would go to their respective homes and visit each one of them. Dorothy went on to say that Kei'mani wasn't the kind of kid to get in trouble. She went to school, she would play basketball, and come home, rinse and repeat. She said that Kei'mani was a latchkey kid, meaning that sometimes when she would get home from school, Dorothy was still at work, so Kei'mani had to fend for herself until she returned back. She also worked some overnight shifts, so there was often times where Kei'mani would be home alone all night. That being said, anytime Kei'mani would leave the house or do something outside of her normal schedule, she would always call Dorothy to let her know. That's why it was so strange when Dorothy returned home from work on the morning of March 17th, 2025, only to find that the front door was unlocked and the house was in a state of disarray. Even the stove had been left on and the house was starting to smell of gas. Dorothy realized that Kei'mani wasn't home, so she figured she must have made it to school as she normally did. The state of the home was concerning enough for Dorothy, though, that she called the school to talk to Kei'mani, and that is when she was told that she never made it to school that day. Red flags immediately went up for Dorothy, so she tried calling Kei'mani on her cell phone, but the calls were going straight to voicemail. Then she noticed that Kei'mani's glasses and house keys were still in the house. Her underwear were on the couch in the front room, and her pajamas were lying on the dining room floor. This was all very concerning to Dorothy. As I stated, Kei'mani often made it home before Dorothy, so she needed to have her keys with her at all times. She was known to always answer her phone because she pretty much only had a phone at 13 years old so that she could be in contact with her grandmother and let her know what was going on. And again, she would always call Dorothy before leaving the house. She was a very responsible young girl. She also never left her clothes just lying around the house. And most of all, she never would have left without her glasses because she couldn't see without them.
According to the way that the house was set up, once I got here, because it was in complete disarray, she wasn't here. So I called the school so that I can talk to her, and they said that she wasn't there.
After reaching out to school staff and various friends and family members, all who said they hadn't seen Kei'mani, Dorothy contacted the police to report then 13-year-old Kei'mani Latigue as a missing person. In her report, she said that the last time she saw Kei'mani was just before 10 p.m. on the night of March 16th when she left for work. When she returned home the morning of March 17th, Kei'mani was gone.
Okay, what kind of report?
A missing person.
Okay, what's your name?
Mine or hers?
Yours?
Dorothy.
Okay, and who's
Latigue.
missing?
Kei'mani. This is my granddaughter.
Okay, do you have custody?
I do.
Okay, how old is she?
13.
How long ago she's been missing?
To the best of my understanding, she's just been missing this morning. And I called her school and went up to her school, and they said she's not there.
Do you remember, did you see what she was wearing before she left?
No, she's usually going to school before I get home from work.
Okay. Okay, does she have a phone on her that you're aware of?
She does, and it's dead because it's going straight to voicemail.
All right, they'll be out then. They'll be out.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, bye.
From there, a search party was organized. Law enforcement, friends, family, and volunteers from the community all came out in hopes of finding the missing girl. They handed out flyers, went to the media, and tried spreading her story and image as far and wide as they could in hopes that Kei'mani would come home. At first, neither her family nor authorities really knew what to make of all of it. Dorothy knew that Kei'mani wasn't the type to run away, as she never had done anything like that before. But who knows? She was a 13-year-old girl. Teenagers all have secrets, and maybe she decided randomly to sneak out on a Sunday night. It wasn't totally out of the question. But then, investigators were able to track down Kei'mani's father, 33-year-old Darnell Jones, who gave them more information to narrow down the timeline even further. Darnell told investigators that he actually saw Kei'mani the night she went missing. He said that on the night of March 16th, Kei'mani called him and asked him to come over, saying that she was afraid to be home alone. According to Darnell, Kei'mani made it seem like someone was trying to break into the house, so he went over there to make sure she was okay. He said that both he and his cousin went to the house for about an hour, leaving by around 12:30 a.m. After that, he hasn't seen or heard from his daughter. From there, the searches continued, and so did the investigation into Kei'mani and the dynamics within her family. Turns out there had been 3 reports made to DCFS within the span of 6 months regarding concerns for abuse within the home. One report was made on December 8th, 2023, and 2 more reports came in on March 21st, 2024. The reports claimed that Dorothy was using excessive physical discipline on Kei'mani. An investigator from the agency followed up on each of the calls and interviewed both Kei'mani and Dorothy separately. In these interviews, Dorothy admitted to using physical punishment on her granddaughter. Kei'mani also admitted that Dorothy used physical discipline, but said that she understood why it happened, saying that she felt safe within the home. It was reported that investigators also spoke with the people who made the DCFS reports and other family members who knew both Kei'mani and Dorothy. After conducting their investigation, it was found that the best option for Kei'mani was for her to stay in the home with her grandmother. Instead, they instructed Dorothy on appropriate discipline techniques and referred the family to a program called Ohio Rise, which is a specialized care program for youth experiencing complicated behavioral health issues. Other than that, DCFS received no other concerns involving her mother or father or any further concerns about Dorothy. The only time they were ever contacted were within that span of 6 months, and the calls were always in regard to Dorothy. After the report in March of 2024, no further complaints were made, so it seems that maybe Dorothy did take the recommendations seriously. So, of course, that can definitely give us insight into part of what Kei'mani was going through. Obviously, there were some strained family dynamics, and it seems like Dorothy was struggling to raise Kei'mani. But other than those reports, again, it doesn't seem like any further concerns were raised. As investigators were finding out this information, another witness came forward to tell police what she knew. The witness was the girlfriend of Darnell Jones, aka Kei'mani's father. She spoke with investigators, I believe, on March 22nd or 23rd, asking that her identity remain anonymous to protect her own well-being. She said that she and Darnell had interviews with police at the station on March 21st. After the interview, she ended up getting home before Darnell, and once there, he called her and asked her to turn off the security cameras she had in the home. Essentially, he was preemptively calling her to get the cameras turned off before he or police could get there. This obviously concerned her, so she asked him why she would turn them off. Darnell told her that he hadn't gotten home until around 5 a.m. on the morning of Kei'mani's disappearance, so he didn't want police to suspect him. He said that he didn't do anything wrong, he just didn't want to look suspicious or give police any reason to look into him. But his girlfriend said that in her head, she thought, well, why would she turn the cameras off? If he really had nothing to hide, then it shouldn't matter. So she told him that she turned the cameras off, but she didn't actually do it. Then, also once she was at home after these interviews at the station, another family member confided in her that they saw Darnell move something from the SUV and hide it under the stairs in the home. I'm not sure exactly which day they claim he did this, but after hearing this, the girlfriend called a detective who arrived shortly after to retrieve the item, which ended up being a sort of rubber mat that you'd put in the back of your car to protect the seats when you're hauling something. He had rolled up the mat and put it under the stairs in the basement, along with a pair of his work boots, which had been caked in mud. Them being so dirty was strange to the girlfriend because she said that he hadn't worked in a while. Once Darnell finally arrived home, police were gone, but he immediately noticed that his hidden goods were missing. After that, he left the home and never came back.
The weird thing about it is because before they even showed up, he asked me to turn my cameras off. I have cameras in my house, and he asked me to turn them off, and I was like, why would you want me to turn the cameras off? He said, because I didn't come home till 5 o'clock that morning. And he didn't want them to suspect anything because he didn't show up till 5. And I'm like, well, thinking in my head, I'm like, well, if you don't have anything to hide, then why should I turn the cameras off? And I didn't, but he thought I did.
She and Jones have a 2-year-old daughter together. She says she was in the room when Jones tried to hide evidence connected to the case in her house.
After the police took us downtown and questioned us, I came back home before he did, and my family that was here informed me that he hid something under my stairs in my basement. So I called the detectives, and they came and did a search warrant and grabbed it. And once he noticed those were gone, that was the last time I seen him.
What did he hide under your stairs?
It was like a mat for the back of your truck, not a pickup, but SUV. You know, when you lay your seats down and you put that rubber mat in there to protect the back of your seats in case you're hauling something. That's what he rolled up and put in my basement. And his work boots, which were caked with mud. I never seen him put it under there, but I wasn't about to hold no evidence for him or none of that.
The following day, by March 23rd, police issued an arrest warrant for Darnell, stating that he was the last person known to be with Kei'mani before her death, and he gave some conflicting statements about his time with her that night. At the time, Toledo police issued an alert for all surrounding law enforcement agencies to be on the lookout for him. And it actually didn't take long before he was found. The reports on how exactly he was located aren't totally clear, but it seems like they were able to track him down to Columbus based on a call he made to his girlfriend while there. By March 25th, just 2 days after the warrant was issued, Darnell Jones was located by officers who sent a SWAT team to keep him under surveillance. And once they were ready, they got the jump on him. When they approached him, they asked for his name and to show them his hands, but right away, Darnell just said, "Just kill me or I'll pull the gun out on myself." He then motions to pull his gun out, so the officers fire shots immediately, hitting him in the arm, leg, and the left side of his chest. After he was down, officers went over to him where they recovered a gun and a walkie-talkie. Though, to this day, investigators still have not released what the walkie-talkie was apparently used for. As they tended to his injuries, Darnell just kept saying that he wanted to die and doesn't want to be alive. The officer responded by saying, "Nothing is ever that bad," to which he said, "It is." Once paramedics arrived and loaded him onto the stretcher, he asked them, "Why didn't you shoot me in the head?" And the officer said, "We're not trying to kill you or hurt you." From there, Darnell was transported to the hospital where he was stabilized and went on to make a full recovery. I am going to include some of that body cam footage from this incident in this video. There is video of the shooting that took place where you can clearly see cops firing shots and hitting Darnell. I don't think I'm going to include that footage because no matter how bad of a person Darnell is, seeing someone get shot like that is or can be traumatizing for some people. So I'm not going to include that part of the footage, but I will include clips from after he was shot and try to include things that he was saying as all of this was happening to sort of give you a look into his state of mind at the time.
Come here, man.
Don't do it.
What's your name?
It's killing me.
Dude, show me your
Kill
fucking
me.
hands right now.
Me, bro.
Pull your
I
fucking
will
hand
pull
out
it
of your...
on myself.
I swear to God, pull your...
Shots fired! Shots fired!
There you go. How's that?
They broke.
Okay.
I can't get up.
Okay, we're gonna leave you sit here like this. Take a deep breath.
Copy that.
Do me a favor. Take a deep breath for me, okay?
Hey, move your car and block that road. You're on shell casing. Get that road blocked.
There you go. You're gonna be fine. Listen, hey, nothing's ever that bad, all right?
It is.
Okay, well. Darnell, right? Do you have anything else on you? Do you have any more guns? Yes?
Where the guns at?
Where's the other gun at?
I don't.
Darnell. Hey,
Sorry.
Darnell.
Do you have anything else on you?
Yeah, you said you had a gun.
I don't. I think he's just fading. I don't know.
Hold on. Just stare at him. Good. Hey, don't move your arm. I know it hurts. They're gonna help you, okay?
I couldn't even shoot me in the head.
Well, we're not trying to hurt you. We're not trying to kill you.
Take this off my arm.
No, we're not gonna take it off your arm, okay?
Now, as all of that was happening, of course, the investigation into Kei'mani's disappearance continued. They continued searching for her, desperate to find her alive. But tragically, that is not how this case went. By March 24th, investigators were led to an old, burned, abandoned home in Toledo, just miles away from where Kei'mani was living with Dorothy. Investigators went up to the second floor of the home, and there they found the body of 13-year-old Kei'mani Latigue. She had been brutally killed just days before her 14th birthday. Officers said that when they found her body, she was in horrific condition. Her neck had been slashed so deeply that she was almost decapitated. She had also been violently sexually assaulted, and her hands had been cut off. According to later autopsy, it was determined that Kei'mani's cause of death was multiple incision wounds to her neck. Of course, her manner of death was determined to be homicide. After news came out of the horrific way Kei'mani died, her friends, family, and the community were left reeling. And even now, as I'm talking to you all, I have a pit in my stomach thinking about what this 13-year-old girl went through, how horrified she must have been. To think that anybody could be capable of such brute violence is incomprehensible. After finding her body, investigators continued collecting evidence to build their case against her father, Darnell Jones. Right now, he is facing a number of charges, including abduction, rape, aggravated murder, burglary, gross abuse of a corpse, and tampering with evidence. Prosecution believes that Darnell Jones went to the home of Kei'mani that night, knowing that she would be home alone. We don't know if she actually did call him that night, scared being home alone, and that's why he went there, or if he just knew that she would be alone, so that's why he went, and surprised her there. We also don't know if that cousin actually came with, or if he just made that up to make it seem like, someone was with me, so there's no way I could have possibly done anything to her. Either way, it's thought that he abducted her. Now, at some point, she was brutally raped by him. My thought is that it happened in that home because of where her clothes were found. Again, they were found on the couch, and her pajamas were found in the dining room, so they were kind of strewn all about. That definitely gives us a picture of the violent scene that probably occurred. It's thought that she probably wasn't killed there, but that she was dragged to that abandoned home on Miami Street in Toledo, where she was tortured and murdered by having her neck slashed multiple times. Once Darnell was cleared to discharge from the hospital after the whole shooting occurred, investigators who interviewed him said that he actually admitted to his involvement in his daughter's death. However, at his plea hearing, he did plead not guilty to all charges. His bail was set to $4 million, which he did not post, which I'm surprised he got bail to begin with. I don't think he should have even gotten the chance, but thankfully he could not post his bail. As of right now, prosecutors said that they're sifting through over 200 pieces of evidence in this case, including interviews, surveillance footage, cell phone and location data, forensic evidence, body cam footage, and photos. One piece of evidence that stood out to investigators was a video of a female who apparently stated that Kei'mani was pregnant. We don't know much more about this video. That's really all that was stated. We don't know the context or anything like that. But up until this point, police have not released a possible motive. But obviously, this video can shed light on what a motive could have been. According to the medical examiner, there was no gross evidence of Kei'mani being pregnant. That means that they found no fetus, no placenta. But a pregnancy test had not been completed. My guess is they didn't have this evidence by that point, so there's really no reason to do a pregnancy test on a 13-year-old. Although, given how she was killed, I think that could have been appropriate, but it was not done. So that means that an early gestation cannot be ruled out. If the baby was still very early on, still the size of a little walnut, then the medical examiner may not have found it. Based on that, it can be deduced that maybe Darnell had been sexually abusing his daughter. Maybe it had been going on for some time and no one knew about it because she was often home alone. And when a child is sexually abused like that, especially by a trusted adult like her own father, it's not uncommon that a child might hide it, either for fear of being blamed, fear of repercussions. Abusers will also try to convince a young victim that what they're doing is normal and okay, that it's their little secret. They make this victim feel special, making them feel that this is how you express love. It's absolutely twisted, but for someone as young and susceptible as Kei'mani, it wouldn't be surprising to learn that she did keep this a secret from everybody else. And if that were the case, and Kei'mani got pregnant, or even if he thought that she might be, Darnell might have acted out. Maybe he wanted to try and get rid of the pregnancy. Maybe he wanted to kill Kei'mani before she could tell anyone about the sexual abuse. Because obviously if she was pregnant, everyone would know that she was sexually active in one way or another. Or maybe he was just full of rage and took it out on her in general. No matter how you spin it, it's so disturbing, I can't even put it into words, but this whole pregnancy video might give us a good idea of what was going on. But with that being said, as of right now, we don't know a true motive. Everything I just said about the possibility of sexual abuse is all just speculation on my part. None of it's confirmed, but it would make sense and it would explain a lot of how and why it happened. By this point, based on what they found, investigators have called this case the most heinous act of facts they've seen in decades, and I would have to agree. Darnell's trial is currently scheduled for April of 2026, and both sides are collecting evidence to make their arguments. The last I heard, the defense is trying to get Darnell examined so that he can claim mental illness or deficits in intellectual capacity. Right now, it's believed that his defense is going to claim insanity. It's also believed that the prosecution may be going for the death penalty. With that, though, that is where this case currently sits. Darnell is in prison where he belongs. This whole case is just unbelievable and so very heartbreaking. Nobody could have predicted that something so horrific would happen. Even with those calls to DCFS, no one ever made any mention of Darnell, so there was truly no way they could have known or predicted this. It truly seems like something was going on behind closed doors that no one knew about until something happened that made Darnell lash out. To just think that someone could treat their own child with such disregard, with so much violence, is just disgraceful. And I hope that he gets the justice he deserves, and I hope everything he did to her all throughout that time, if he was sexually abusing her, if he did abuse her in any other way before this. I hope all of that comes out and he is fully exposed for the monster he allegedly is. But before I go on too long of a rant about how disgusting this whole case is, that's where I'm going to end today's video. I know this was a really tough case to get through. I'm sure you're all leaving it with just a huge pit in your stomach like I am. But I'm just hoping and praying that Kei'mani gets justice. I hope that it's a quick trial so her family doesn't have to relive everything that happened to her for too long. I hope he doesn't get another day outside of a jail cell, and I hope someday the rest of her family can be at peace. But we are still a very long way from that as we await Darnell's trial. Of course, as with any ongoing case like this one, if there is more information, I will let you all know. If there's a trial and a lot more evidence comes out, I will make a follow-up video to keep you all updated. Otherwise, I will put that information in the description box. But with that being said, you all heard what I think, and now I want to hear from you all. Why do you think this happened? Do you think Darnell is guilty? If so, why did he do this? Let's discuss this and any other thoughts you have in the comments below. If you like this video, please make sure to go ahead and leave this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I put out new true crime and mystery videos every single week. Don't forget to turn that notification bell too on so you don't miss out on any of my future videos. Make sure to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, Facebook, and TikTok. All will be linked down below. And if you have any case suggestions, please make sure to fill out the Google form, which is also listed down below. With that, hope you guys have an amazing week. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.